Hey, this is Dave with Rough Notes Magazine. We're all about helping agents and brokers thrive, and we're impressed with what you're doing. Can we feature you and your team on our front cover?
Phillip, tell me the feeling you first had when you found out that you were going to be on the cover of Rough Notes magazine.
Well, we were very excited. We've been subscribing to Rough Notes for quite a while, and I don't read every article in the magazine, but the agency of the month always catches your attention. It's usually on the cover, and I always will generally go to their website, look at their website, check out the agency, a little more, maybe a little more detail than what the story's telling us that's written in the magazine. So yeah, we were very excited. We announced it to our staff. Several of our producers thought it was a great opportunity for us.
Yeah. Yep. Now everybody's looking at your website. Now everybody's looking at you. Chip, what'd you think when you first found out?
It was an honor. Being in the industry for 15, 16 years now, of Rough Notes, the peer group that you're a part of when you're put on the cover. And that was a big honor to be acknowledged. So, yeah, we were very excited.
Yeah, over the last probably 40-ish years, it may be a little bit under that. I think they've had last I knew it was like 234, 235. So it's probably up to around 240, 245, somewhere in there is how many agencies they've had. What you really, really think about 35, 40 years, that's not a lot. And so that's kind of a prestigious thing. I think that they would appreciate. So here is one of the things I want to talk about is what do you think it was about your agency? There's a lot of good agencies in Tennessee. What was the thing they found about yours?
There's a lot of good agencies across the whole country.
There are.
Yeah. And that was probably the first question I asked when I got the phone call after I was stunned by the phone call to start with. I asked, what in the world made you decide on us? How'd you even find us? So, we're rural, small town insurance agencies put together over a long period of time. So, we're about as homegrown and, small town as you can get. But we are members of Best Practices, the Reagan Consulting Group. We've got some friends that have been in the magazine before. So maybe they gave us a recommendation. We don't know for sure, but it was a surprise to say the least.
Yeah, and so that the Rough Notes listeners know, you've got around 35, 37 people, direct employees, VAs, 5 locations. Want to tell us a little more?
Yeah, we started 1894 was the beginning.
Okay, not too long ago.
We actually have the policy hanging outside our office door here.
That's cool. That's cool.
It is a cool thing. Yes. We've grown a lot. When I first started in 1986 here, this is my hometown, but I worked as an underwriter before this with a company that's no longer in business. I helped put them out of business. And then I worked for another agency in Upper East Tennessee. We're near Nashville, so it's
okay.
Yeah, I moved back home.
North side or south side or east west?
We're east of Nashville, about an hour. Yeah.
Okay.
So we when I came, there were 6 people. I was number 6, and now we're at. You said 37. That sounds about right. I'm not exactly sure anymore.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple of virtual assistants that help with back office things. That's one of Chip's ideas that he's brought on. So it's
probably one of the best ideas you've had.
Well, it's one of the best ideas I had to listen to some of his ideas. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
No, it is. And using VAs is a very powerful thing. It really, truly is. I've seen dramatics. We have 4 VEs that work in our office. Incredibly smart and incredibly good at what they do. So now, so what would you say? You guys have some specialties. You guys, what are you going after? What's the markets that you're looking at?
Well, because of where we are, we had to become more specialized in something that, um, it's just, there's a limited insurance market for it, because that way we could become more specialized and find those niche markets that we could explore. Plus, I had some experience coming from the agency in East Tennessee when I moved back here. I had gotten to work as an assistant account executive on a natural gas utility.
Okay.
And I kind of learned the lingo and, what a regulator station is and what a compressor does, and the whole, concept. And then the first large account I wrote once I got back here was 1987. So I actually sat in the lobby. It was a cold call. Sat in the lobby for a couple of hours waiting to see the general manager. Got in, and we were lucky enough to write the account, and we have had it since 1987.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
nice.
it
You
is.
think about that. Sometimes producers, I tell them a lot, they think of commission as annual, but if you're doing it right, you should think that the average one stays 5 to 7 years. You do it really right, you're gonna have something that's gonna stay that long. That's a lot of revenue over the years. I imagine over millions. And in some agencies with some, it's amazing. What's your oldest client? Not age wise, but like going back. Do you know have you had families that have been with you for 50, 60 years? Do you have any
Yeah,
of those?
yeah. We have some businesses that have been with Powell Meadows for over 50 years. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some wild stuff. That's just so cool. That's one of the coolest things. Do you guys wear that on your sleeve through your community?
Well, I mean, once again, because we're in rural areas, you see these people when you go to the grocery store, when you're at church, when you're at the
Mm-hmm.
ball fields, you grow up with the grandfathers and the fathers and the sons and daughters. And over time, you become more than just an insurance agent. You
Right
become
about
a
that.
friend. Well, it's just like the natural gas account I was mentioning earlier. Uh, we are friends with them. Uh, so it's not just,
Mm-hmm.
the natural gas account. That one account kind of drove us into the energy sector that we're working on, and the utilities that are one of the niches that we do. So yeah, I mean it all kind of blends together.
Chip, how long you been in the business?
16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not no rookie. Okay, so I had no idea. I had looked at that. I knew that you were the vice president, and stuff like that. You are the future. And so I've been doing it around 22 years or so, Chip. So not much longer than you. Um, Man, we've seen a change in this industry, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, 10, 12 years ago, we were saying this industry is not moving fast enough and never has. And now it just seems like we're moving so fast, it's ridiculous. Not even society's technology, but just the way our customers are expecting different experiences, the cultures that we must have in our office to create a smooth system. It's completely different than, 2010. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the biggest challenges um, that our industry faces, and it really applies to us, is we are normally more traditional, slower to adapt to change, much more relationship driven. But now we're having to engage with a client in a more virtual, modern, um,
Hmm.
text, chat type of way. So how do we bridge that gap with allowing them multiple ways to interact with the agency while not throwing out the old fashioned, relationship that Dad's talking about there? We're friends, we're neighbors, we go to the ballpark, kids are on the same teams. How do you um, straddle that divide? You know,
So I want to make you think about something. Um, this affects rural just like it affects urban. Maybe a little bit behind in rural for areas, but I think that that's made up in society. But Within the next 12 months, our agencies are going to have prospects that are calling us that are AI, and they're going to be shopping on behalf of a client. They're going to be shopping on behalf of our own clients, because the technology, once GPT-5 comes out, which in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks will be, it's going to allow people just like you and I to be able to say, hey, I want a vacation in Greece. Go out there and get me some options. And it goes out there and gets those options. And if you want it to buy it, it's going to buy it. And so you have to start thinking about, when we talk about AI and the way voice is being used, this is real things that we have to prepare our staff for over the next, 1, 2, 5, 6 years. And that's different, because that's something that me and my team and something that me and my leadership sit up and worry about. We do. We don't worry about AI. We think it enhances us. We use it heavily in our office. We absolutely love it. But when it comes to our prospects using it, one of the things that we know, and I think you guys feel the same, we're very relationship driven. If we can keep the customer on the phone for 15 to 20 minutes and talk about nice, good conversations and getting deep, elevated conversations, we like to call it, we've got like an 80 to 90% closing ratio on that account. It just really does. We could even be higher in premium because that relationship's there. I think Geico knows something when they say 15 minutes or less could save you 15 minutes or more. They know keeping that customer on that phone for a certain amount of time. How do you do that? Like you said, Chip, how do you bridge that gap, right? How do you create that relationship with an AI when it's just there trying to give you information and here's how you get back with me?
Right.
It follows up, right? Boy, that's weird. And this is coming quick. This is coming real quick. You got any thoughts about that, Chip?
Yeah, I think agencies like ours are really better positioned than they realize, because the technology that's available today can enable us to do things more efficiently and have our actual in-office staff freed up to focus on those higher level conversations.
That's right, Chip.
If they're not having to do all of the execution of their daily workflow and they can pass some of that off, they spend more of their time really having the ability to strengthen the relationship with the client, which is where I feel like we bridge the gap between incorporating technology and what has gotten us and other agents like us to where we're at. Focus on the value and focus on the relationship, and let technology support you as you grow.
AI can't replace us because it's nothing more than a tool.
Right.
That's where everybody who's scared and thinking, oh, it's going to do this and that, it's nothing more than a tool. Now, that tool may replace some of the skills that we have inherited as a society over the last 80 years as an industrial nation. But we have to realize that all we have to do is change the skills that tool doesn't fix, that humans do. So it's, in 1940, 60% of the jobs that were here today were not here. They weren't here in 1940 because the jobs and the skills at that time didn't require those jobs. But as the skills changed and humans and Americans and society changed, so did our skills. And now here we are again, scared that pretty much what they thought back in 1920 and 30. I was just reading this, guys, real quick. We'll get back to you. I thought this was great. The assembly line. There were people that were against the assembly line. And just like people are against AI today, and they were against the assembly line because they said it took away the creativity of humans, because the person had to stand in the same place the whole time and just do that. But as agriculture, we were more farm oriented. We used our hands more. We created our own things, and they were against that because they felt as if that was going to take away the spirit. If you think about it, we were being trained to work for the machine. With AI, the machine's being trained to work for us. This is actually good news. And Chip, I think you see it. I think you realize that 65 to 75% of the things that our agencies do every day, there's 5 of them. And very rarely of those 5, about a half of one requires a license. We never had the option to have anybody but licensed people before. And now we really actually do. So I applaud you for that. I really do. Hey, Phillip, you got some good leadership there. Explain your leadership team to me. Is it all you, Chip? Is there 2, 3, 4 other people? How's that look? That's a big agency for one person to run.
Yeah, we're.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I wasn't sure if you were asking Chip or me.
Sorry, I wasn't clear. Go, Phillip. What do you
It's
think?
okay. Well, we have there's 3 principals, 3 owners of the agency, and then we have an agency manager who's been with us for 44 years. Started right out of high school. Yeah, she is the right hand.
Oh, yeah.
You always hear that, the right hand.
Oh,
She
yeah.
really is, because she's trustworthy. She has our best interests at heart.
What's her name?
And
Give her a shout out.
Sandra Maynard is our agency manager, and
There you go.
she's
Make her famous.
yeah. And she's the kind of person that you don't want to lose, and you want to reward. And we have several people like that. We have several people that have worked for us over 25 years. Some more than 35. So we try to make it a good place to work. We do treat our employees pretty well. We give them competitive, if not above average pay. We give them really good benefits. We're very understanding about family. We do put family first for our employees and us. And it's helped us from a continuity standpoint. We don't have a revolving door. And then we've got some really good salespeople. We can't sell and do just 3 owners. There's no way we can sell the kind of amounts of revenue that we need or want with us. So we have an excellent sales force. Yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome. It sounds like to me you've got a team that would probably run through a brick wall for you if they had to.
Well, I hope so.
Phillip, you laugh, and Chip says yes. Chip, I believe you. He's a little bit too humble there, but I think it's okay to say that. It's a representation of what you guys exude. Like you said, we're in rural town. How in the world did you find about us? Well, that's the power of your agency. You just live in it, right? It's hard to kind of see outside the box when you're in it, but people outside the box realize how great you're doing. And so that's a fantastic thing. I love that.
Thank you. That was one reason we didn't change the name. A lot of agencies over time, as the ownership changes, you either put your name on the sign, or you get away from individuals and
some generic name.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of that, we just left the name because of the tradition that it had, and good standing in the community, and it just paid off.
Sometimes they're hard to say, the names, but you've got the Powell Meadows, which is pretty normal and easy, which is because sometimes it's like Shiseski and blah, 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 shit, and you're like, that's so hard for people to remember, especially when you're trying to brand. But yours is a good one. And like you said, it's been around forever. 1894. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Have you guys looked and seen like how old you are compared to other agencies? You've got to be in the top 50 or 100 in the industry. Have you looked at that?
I have not. I am sure there's some agencies in the Northeast that are older than we are, but we're one of the oldest. That's for sure. At least
second oldest agency in America is out of Talladega. It's Talladega Insurance Agency. Been around since 1860 something. They have a client, Robert E. Lee, signed a Confederate dollar. He was a client of theirs, and they have it hanging on their wall. It's owned by Boyd McGee. It's a very, very interesting agency. They have clients that have been on the books for, I think, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. It's absolutely amazing, son to daughter to son, just going all the way down. And it's amazing people like you. It's a testament to all the things that we've went through over the last 120, 30 years, and you guys are still there. That's awesome. And you're growing, because you said there was about 6 people when you came in, Phillip. Was that right?
Yeah. When I first came here, we had, I was number 6.
And you were number 6. And what do you believe, when did you guys really start growing?
Oh, wow.
When he came, that's what I'm getting at, Chip. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm
going to say it because he won't when he came.
He won't. Yeah. So you had a bigger vision of what you could be, Phillip, when you came in.
Yeah. I think any salesperson has got wants to own a successful business and you want to sell more, you want to grow more. Luckily, I was in a position where I was able to work for myself, not just work for the agency, but I eventually was able to buy out and became the sole owner for a period of time. And when you have that incentive and you owe a whole lot of money, it gives you incentive to work really hard. So I tell people now I don't work. I'm working hard right now, but years ago I didn't need an alarm clock. I mean, I was hitting the floor ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this stuff, Phillip.
Chip remembers this because he was a small child,
Oh,
and growing up, teenager, I was working pretty hard. Yeah.
You're working hard, but I imagine one of the beauties is when he had that hour or two game, you probably didn't miss a lot of those, if any. I know I didn't hardly miss any of my boys' games. I was actually able to coach because of my profession. I think that's one of the beauties of insurance. Do you agree?
Yeah, I was actually Chip's coach through a couple of sports, and my daughter's coach also. So yeah.
I had
was
gentlemen come up to me when my sons were in 7th or 8th grade and I had coached them all the way up. I had gentlemen come up to me and say, I just want you to know, man, I've always been jealous of you. I'm a UPS driver. I don't get off till 5:30 or 6. I miss some of these games. I can never make the practices. And it's just the way the world is, And I really didn't realize it because I was a young guy at the time. I had my first one when I was 21 years old. And it was very interesting. So it's cool about this, You hear a lot of Chips, you hear a lot of Jasons that say, hey, I want to be in this industry because my dad was always home at night or my mom was. We always went on good vacations. Money was always pretty consistent. And when you were young and we get out there and we realize how hard the world is, you realize insurance is hard too. But if you do it right, it really pays down the line, So am I wrong or right about that, Chip? Do you find that to be familiar or not?
Yeah, no, 100%. I've got 8-year-old twins now, and as you become a parent, you can appreciate what was happening in your life when your parents were in that situation. And one of the things you mentioned there, I remember being young, and Dad would qualify for very nice trips, and there were multiple times he would turn those trips down to be there for nothing more than a ball game, a practice.
That's awesome.
And the same for my sister. And at the time, I remember telling them, like, it's just a ball game. Don't miss this big, nice trip for a ball game. But the cool part about it, and to your point, one of the big things that attracted me to this industry is we get to call dealing with our friends work. We get to spend time in our community. And yeah, that means sometimes you want to give up the trip so that you can be part of your family events. And that's awesome. That shows the values and the character that he had. And, I'm sure there's other agency owners that do the exact same thing. And that's fantastic. But that's the neat part about our business is, yes, you work hard. And it does require some flexibility outside of normal 8 to 5 hours, but it does give you the flexibility, to be at the ball games and the horseback riding and cheerleading, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, whatever it is. That's right. Yeah. It's phenomenal. And if your kids want to, have extracurricular activities that cost a lot of money, we can afford it. So it's a fantastic industry. Everybody who drives by, so everybody who works for me, we have a ton of people who are under 30 here. They're like, I used to drive by here and just think this was the place that my grandma and grandpa used to go work or go talk about insurance, and then they get in here and they don't realize that like we have a fun time. We have a fun culture, and I imagine you guys do too, because it requires that to be successful, especially in today's age. So yeah. And closing up here, I'm going to give you each the floor. Phillip, anything you want to say, anything we didn't talk about that you want to brag about? This is the time. Chip, you next. Yeah, I know you're not going to brag, Phillip. Okay. All right, Chip, you brag when it comes time. Phillip, what do you want to close up with, buddy?
I appreciate the opportunity. It's been interesting. This has been a lot. This is my first podcast. So I really enjoyed this better than I did the photo shoot. the photo shoot, it was about 95 degrees the day they did it. It was really hot. So it was, when people see the pictures, if you see all the sweat running off of us, you'll understand, because we're in the South and it's hot here. Very humid. But anyway, as far as what I want to say about our agency and brag on us a little bit, it's not the three owners. It's really the people that are working with us. We don't really say working for us. They're working with us. And they have helped us create a strong business. We want to remain independent. That's been a goal of mine for years. We have a lot of suitors call and want to talk about purchasing, and
big dollars.
We have we're really committed to staying independent. So we are successful, and I keep, one of the lines that I tell my folks is, we may not be the smartest people, but we can sure outwork people. So let's have fun, work hard.
Love it.
So
love it. Chip.
So I think a fitting thing to end with is one of my favorite quotes is Isaac Newton says, "I've seen further by standing on the shoulders of giants." I think not only is Dad a giant, and I'm able to see further because, piggybacking off his success, but as he's saying, our staff is deserves a lot of that credit too. I'm at a unique position where I don't get credit for the things that I'm doing now. I'm just trying to manage the opportunity that we have. I'm thankful for Rough Notes for honoring us. It was pretty cool. Thank you for the time and for the honor.
Okay. Thank you, Phillip. I appreciate that. Chip, I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys are special. I want to really just stop for a second, and I want to say two things. First thing I want to say is thank you, Phillip. I want to say thank you for depending and wanting to stay independent. I'm not saying that selling out to some M&A organization is a bad thing. I really don't. These numbers are huge, but I just, right now, on behalf of 40,000 other agencies, maybe some of them are getting ready to sell, I want to say thank you for wanting to remain independent. This is one of the greatest gifts God's ever given us. It really, truly is, in the industry, not gifts, industry that God ever gave us. We got a lot of better gifts. Don't get me wrong. Insurance is good, but we got better gifts. But better, the best industry. I say it all the time. God, the greatest industry God ever created. And it's great that you're staying independent of that for us. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Chip, for your time. I look forward to your leadership. Isn't it so exciting? We have so much time still left in this industry, and it's people like Phillip and people, other people, veterans out there who've laid this wonderful road for us to travel on. And you got 2 8-year-old twins. Yeah, you better keep selling, buddy. You got a lot of things, and mom and dad are happy as can be. More grandkids, so that's really good. Appreciate that very much. I really do appreciate you guys. I love the spirit. I love the ruleness. I love the fact it's the down home. It's the relationship. I love the fact that you gave all the credit to your people, because they are our greatest assets. That's so true. One of the things, Rough Notes listeners, as I close up here, I want to tell you, they kind of hit on a lot of these. Something that I haven't thought about in a while, they kind of brought to light, which I call the 5 truths of insurance. I have lived and worked in my agency to make sure that my people understand these 5 truths. And in so many ways, we didn't talk about all of them, but they naturally came out of these gentlemen here. And the first one I like to say is a flexible schedule. One of the truths that we don't tell about the insurance industry, and if we did tell these 5 truths, we would get more people in it, is it's a flexible schedule. You're never going to miss your child's games. You're never going to miss their rehearsal. You're never going to miss anything that you want to do. And when I say anything, it has to do with the next few, your financial freedom. Number 2 is financial freedom. In this industry, there's an unlimited amount of income that you can make. And the fact that you can do something 50 years ago and still be nurturing that relationship today to still be paid, please give me another industry that's like that. Not only that, when you mix the financial freedom and the flexible schedule together, I mean, come on, what are we looking for in life? Those first two are unbelievable and they're for you. The last three, though, those are for what we do for others. Because of that flexible schedule, because of the financial freedom, we now can be involved in our communities. We can be community builders, whether that's a civic, whether that's your church, no matter what that is, that's where you're able to contribute there to somebody else. Number 4 is going to be mentorship. That is going to be something that is very, very important because everything that we've learned to give us the financial freedom, to give us the flexible schedule, to help build our community is built off giving back to others, just like I'm pretty sure Phillip has for Chip and for many, 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 many others that he's too humble to talk about. Last, number 5 is an empire builder. It came to a point where we had 6 people here at Powell Meadows. But when Phillip came in, he realized that it could be bigger. It could be better. He could set the sales higher for someone like Chip. And look what he did. He was an empire builder. What other organizations do you get to go into and literally start leading and build it from 6 to 37 in your vision? There's not a whole lot. And now I understand it's been his vision. It's probably been the vision of the board, but together they've been able to create these. Those are the 5 truths of insurance. And I believe if we tell those and we keep preaching those, I believe we'll get a lot more people that will want to be in this industry. It's the story they don't know, and it's our story, and we need to tell it. You know what I do because I do it for you. I love being part of Rough Notes. I want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to display and to honor people just like these guys. Chip, Phillip, it was fantastic being with you, and I greatly appreciate it. To all you Rough Notes listeners, I'll see you next time.